And frankly, it made me really mad. Joining me now on the show, somebody who was there virtually last night, epidemiologist Raywat Deonandan from the University of Ottawa. Hello, welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
I'll get your impression of how that went down.
It was interesting. It was scary. I was on virtually, and I was very, very tense. I felt, you used the right words, it was a hijacking of democracy. And I don't care what side of the debate you're on, if your best argument is to shout down someone else before they speak, then your best argument is not very good. So it was an insult to our process, to our democratic ideals. And frankly, it's an episode of Parks and Rec made real in real time here in Ottawa.
Not so funny, though. Just disrespectful.
Exactly right. Yes.
Yeah. Did you see it going that way?
I was warned that there would be a loud contingent present who were motivated and mobilized and organized. I didn't think there would be that much shouting and interruption. I was very impressed by Lyra Evans's ability to manage that room, but I wish that calling in security was done much earlier. I don't know what to say. I hope this is not a beacon for what's going to happen in the future with these kinds of meetings in Ottawa. I hope this is not a cultural shift that we're going to experience across all of society. I hope it's a one-off. It's American-style politics brought here on our shores. I don't like it, and it has to stop.
Not only was it disappointing, just from a behavioral standpoint, that people would show up and act that way, but I worry, what does it mean for the future? Like you, I think it's really important to have people in the room. I want the parents, no matter what their opinion is, to be able to come. I want people to come and bear witness to these meetings, and I just worry about what it means.
100%. It's a kind of canceling, online canceling, made real in the flesh, where if you don't like someone's position, you prevent them from speaking rather than address and confront their position. It's anti-intellectual. It's not the future of a liberal democracy, not at all. I suspect that in the future, we're probably going to move these things fully virtually or in camera and have the public view it virtually, which is unfortunate, until there is a sea change, a shift in the public consciousness, in our values in society. We have the opportunity to stop this right now, to nip it in the bud, because it is a minute minority of vocal individuals who are causing all of this commotion. The rest of society is quite rational and does not want to deal with this any further.
I personally would loathe that. I think it's great to have the flexibility and the ability to connect in and tune in from home. More people can watch virtually like I did last night and you appeared virtually. But I think there's something really impactful and powerful to be able to make a delegation in person if you want to. And I would hate to see people robbed of that.
100%. Now, it's possible to have the speakers in person and have the audience in a different room so they're not interrupting.
Oh, come on. That's ridiculous.
Well, we've done that.
I'm aware of all the shifting that we can do. It's just why should we have to do that?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Why should we have to accommodate a minority of adults behaving like children? 100%.
Talk to me about the mask rule. They said they're going to debate it in the future. They haven't set a date to do so. What is your position on that?
Well, my position is we have traffic in the hospitals that cannot be sustained. We have children who are going to die unless something is done about this. Now, I'm open to any kind of solution. No solutions are on the table. One possible solution with high probability is widespread mask wearing. Now, I don't care how we get to widespread mask wearing. It would be great if we did it voluntarily. But if it comes down to a mandate, then that's a political decision that has to be made. But we need to do something to stop the transmission of these respiratory viruses. I don't think people are fully aware of how bad the situation is in these pediatric hospitals. We have someone in Vaughan, I think this past week, a Down syndrome girl who had to wait 40 hours before receiving care. It's almost 2 days in the hospital before getting emergency care. It's not unheard of to wait 20 hours at CHEO right now. And so Dr. Lindy Sampson was prevented from providing that context in last night's meeting, which is quite tragic. So given the horrors being experienced in the hallways of many hospitals right now, we have to do something to slow transmission. Mask wearing won't stop it. It's not the perfect solution. What we're looking for here is just creating space in the hospital so that when sick kids need help, they can get it until this current crisis is over, which might be a matter of weeks or months, who knows.
How much does masking help with RSV?
It's a good question. Now, RSV is a respiratory virus. Masking works against all respiratory viruses. RSV is also transmitted via fomites, that's touching surfaces. So, it's not going to be a perfect control, but it will help. You throw in some hand washing and some symptom checks, it'll help even more. Again, people have to back away from this idea that if something's not going to be perfect, then we can't use it at all. No, it just has to be good enough to slow down traffic.
In your opinion, does it do enough if there's a rule and the kids are wearing the masks, or most of them are, some of them are, but they're taking them off to eat lunch and they're sitting together and they're taking them off on the school bus?
Yeah, we have to draw a distinction between individual protection and population protection. So at an individual level, you increase your probability of becoming infected if your mask comes off in a high-risk environment. Absolutely. Like, taking it off in the bus and eating lunch. But at the population level, so long as enough people are wearing a good enough mask enough times during enough number of days, then that's enough to slow down transmission. It doesn't have to be a lot, to be honest. We can't let perfect be the enemy of good enough.
I had two conflicting opinions off the air last night. A high school student who told me at the cash at Canadian Tire, I think it should come back because all of my classmates are sick. And then a high school teacher I know who said it doesn't matter because last time the board did this, a ton of students in my class weren't wearing it and I had no way of enforcing it. Would you agree that this is a challenging thing for a school board to be wading into?
Honestly, it shouldn't come down to the school board. I'm a little upset that a school board, whose job it is to manage education, not public health, is being thrust into the responsibility of having to enact public health measures. We've lost a lot of leadership from the province on down in terms of public health. But in terms of enforcement, yeah, I understand it shouldn't be the teachers or principal's job to enforce it, and maybe they shouldn't even enforce it. It's going to be good enough if just a large proportion of people wear a mask. If compliance is not great, okay, but we're doing something. Something has to be done to slow this traffic, or frankly, children are going to die needlessly in the next few weeks.
How well is the flu shot covering us this year?
I haven't got efficacy data at hand, but in general, most years see efficacy of around 30 to 40%, which doesn't sound extraordinary, but it's good enough. It'll keep most people out of the hospital, and more importantly, it slows down the circulation so that those who are most at risk are less likely to get sick and end up in the hospital.
Do you think they will have another meeting on this?
I think they have to. I don't see any way around it. It was tabled, and if you dispose of the agenda item, that's a bad sign.
Yeah, I wonder if it'll be in person or just virtual from the get-go next time.
I think they have a rule saying all the meetings this season have to be in person, so they can't get around that.
Well, we'll see after the display last night. That's another great word for it, the display. Raywat Deonandan, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Raywat Deonandan, epidemiologist.